I'm John Harris, and my website is smallballsuccess.com. Visit us and read my blog. Look at our web pages that talk about both hitting and pitching, mostly from an old-fashioned perspective, really pre-World War II, a lot of times all the way back to the Deadball Era, where we try to mine some of the really old-fashioned techniques and bring them into the modern game, particularly for players who are smaller than average and have been kind of passed up by the contemporary game. Well, one of the most basic things you can talk about, whether it's hitting or pitching, and I don't really know if I'm going to kind of file this video away under the hitting or pitching rubric because it fits equally well under both. Hitters and pitchers should both know about this, but I don't think this subject, maybe it's just too obvious, but it seems like nobody ever talks about it. There is a book by a man named Perry Husbands, it's husband with an S on the end, called Downright Filthy Pitching. It's an e-book, it's not very expensive. I bought it years ago, and it's a really cool book. It goes through a lot of things I'm going to talk about from a pitcher's perspective. It's in black and white, and he has a lot of color charts where the color doesn't show up, but that's the only liability that I found in the book. Look, let's start with the old Ted Williams saw about why would you want to swing down on the ball. If you do that, there's only one, ball's coming down here at about a 15-degree angle of drop. The bat's coming down on it. You have one possible point of intersection. Obviously, it would be better to swing level or even to swing up. Better yet, swing up into that 15-degree plane. Well, okay, with all due respect to the thumper, let's look at this a little closer. Whoops, I'm going to have to try to crouch down here because I don't have much room. All we need to see right now is my hands. Now, this would be a perfectly level swing, wouldn't it? Kind of starting from my rear hip pocket here, or my side pocket, and I'm just going to swing like this. You can not see my face, but I assure you I'm laughing all the way, because isn't this stupid? Doesn't that look absolutely stupid? Nobody can possibly swing level. The human body, no matter how deformed it is always going to have armpits higher than the formal strike zone in baseball. It always has. So your hands are going to load up here, and therefore you're going to have to swing somewhat down on the ball. It is impossible to have a level swing from start to finish in the strike zone. Can't be done. So you can have a swing like Ted's, where you start your hands more or less in the armpit and you roll them a little bit, and then they notice the bottom hand is lifting a little bit. That levels the bat off. So now I'm pretty level through the zone. Actually, Ted thought that he had an uppercut swing because he was throwing his hip and rolling out like that. Actually, he did that a lot less than some of the players who tried to take his advice, and they were rearing back so far that they either would cut under the ball as the barrel is transiting down. If you get the ball a little bit later, right over the plate, you are cutting under it. Maybe if you get it right over the plate, it's still cutting under it, but it's pretty good contact. You can get good backspin that way. But then the bat starts to come back up again, and for the launch angle, or what they used to call the uppercut hitters, they try to get the barrel, they're the ones who were leaning back and hacking. And they try to get that barrel coming out real soon. Well, if you don't get the ball out in front of the plate, and or if it's not a high pitch, because you can't really, with an uppercut swing, this doesn't matter if you get it in front of the plate, if it's below the belt. It's kind of hard to go down there and keep the bat beneath the ball. It's probably going to be coming up. Even when it makes contact, it's going to topspin the ball, and you're going to beat it into the ground. Most guys are. Willie McCovey could hit those with topspin and hit them over a fence, but not many guys can do that. So this is why actually swinging down on the ball is not such a bad idea at all, Ted, because in the first place, the ball is not a point. A barrel is not a point. Both the ball and the barrel have dimension. They are 2 and something inches wide, so you do have a broader zone of possible contact. And if you're swinging down on the ball in the old-fashioned way, in the dead ball era way that we like at small ball success, you're going forward with your weight, and that carries the barrel in a straight line into the pitch instead of, as opposed to hanging back, barrel dips down, barrel dips back up again. You have a couple of points where it's transiting into and then out of the plane of the ball's flight. This way, if you transfer your weight forward and let that bottom hand, again, it's cocking and then bottom hand, top hand working together, throwing the barrel into the ball in a straight line. You can be a sharpshooter that way. You can see the ball coming and pick it off right where you want it. You're swinging down on the ball a little bit, but it's not going to produce severe undercutting because you're transferring your weight forward. And as you noticed when I do that, it substantially levels off the swing. So those are a few basics that I thought I should go over because I'm not sure I ever did, and I'm pretty sure most coaches never have. I've got a towel here on the floor. I'm going to lower my camera's angle a little bit so you can see it. And for the rest of this, mostly, I want you to look at my plate. This is about the size of home plate. I'm going to try to make a few points here. If I'm trying to hit a ball on the outside corner, by the time I get my barrel to the outside of the plate, you can see that in camera, can't you? Yeah. I've got the barrel at about belt high. If the pitch is about belt high and I contact it here, I can hit that right up the middle. That's going to be pretty good contact. But if I'm standing right on top of the plate, I can even hit one out there and pull it. But if the pitch is down at the bottom of the strike zone, and I've got, this is over a half a century old. This is a 34-inch wooden bat. So it's pretty long, certainly by today's standards. But if the pitch is down there and on the black, I'm already, see, the barrel can scarcely reach it down there. I might nub the pitch off the very tip of the barrel, and as soon as my barrel starts coming back up, it's going to miss completely. So I can miss that pitch either by being a little too early, because the barrel's already coming up when the pitch passes down here, or I can be a little bit late because the barrel hasn't made it down there all the way. There's maybe just one little bitty spot where I can make any contact. So pitchers beware, or pitchers pay attention, hitters beware. That's, of course, the place where pitchers like to throw most guys because they just can't reach it down there. Another area that's, I think, much neglected in this metal bat era, you really can't see this very well. I'll kind of make a midget of myself here. I'm sorry, dwarf. Got to be politically correct. But let's say that I'm Bill Veck's dwarf, and I'm playing in my one major league game. And here comes the pitch at about letter high. If I'm going to hit that pitch, that's the high and inside pitch. I'm going to get my bat broken. It's a metal bat, so maybe I'm not going to break it, but I'm not going to get any good wood on it. I'm going to hit it up here where it's thin. It's going to saw me off. If I'm going to hit that well, I'm going to have to run that barrel out there and catch it in front of the plate. There's a good chance I'm going to pull that foul, isn't there? I've got this barrel so far from the plate, plus the fact that if guys throw it all hard, if I'm going to be that early on one of their pitches, I'd better start swinging real early. Now I could, this is a technique that Ted actually talks about in The Science of Hitting. I have actually almost hit the ball off my chest, and a lot of dead ball era guys would do this too. I could use the top hand and just kind of they call this push hitting, as the ball comes in tight on me, especially if I have 2 strikes and I can't afford to take strike 3. I just push it off my chest like that. Don't even take a full swing. And as the ball is very deep over the plate, almost in the catcher's mitt, I can actually hit it on the barrel this way. And just push it right out there and might go down the third baseline. But when was the last time you saw anybody take a swing like that? That's not really part of today's game. So what I am trying to bring this around to, this is what I really stress over and over again in the stuff that we talk about and write about at Small Ball Success. We like a closed stance, and of course we like that slightly downward cut. If I'm off the plate, you can hardly even see my front foot here. I'm way off the plate. But if I am planning to take that slightly downward cut, going straight into the pitch, and if I'm transferring my weight forward, I could get so far back that you couldn't even see me on the camera. I could really get back here, but I'm transferring my weight forward, and I'm using those hands to keep the barrel headed straight. Bottom one's kind of, as we say, levering the handle in, and the top one's punching or pushing it through. There's a parallel reverse symbiotic motion there, and the barrel's going right into the ball. Look at where it's going to make contact. Catcher's got his mitt back here, ready to catch it, and I'm contacting it very, very deep right here, but I'm hitting it right through the heart of the ball with a straight swing. Got a little backspin on it. I might drive that one all the way to the opposite field fence. That's going to be a good hit. Now, if I'm a little bit out ahead of it, then I'll hit it up in the middle. I've got my barrel now more squared to the pitcher, and I'm still coming straight down into it. I'm going to handle that one just fine. It doesn't matter how low it is, really. I mean, as long as if it's in the zone or even a little lower, I'm transferring my weight forward. I can reach that pitch easily, and I can hit it hard. If it's got me fooled, if it's an off-speed pitch, I might pull off of it, and if I keep my weight coming forward, I might be able to, however, even if I'm way too early, just be completely on my front foot, like Clemente or sometimes Aaron, or those guys. I might literally be just standing on my front foot, and my top hand might come off the bat, but the barrel is still headed right down the straight line, and momentum is carrying it down anyway, because I'm not doing that rotational down and up swing. I'm just going to transfer my weight forward right down into the pitch. And even though my top hand slides off, I'm reaching for it, and I've got a lot of drive pushing that barrel through. And that could be one that I pull deep to the pull field. I might even pull it over the fence. So, this is what we try to do as old school hitters. We think about the strike zone, about where a smart pitcher is going to work us, about where our barrel is going to have to be to make good contact. And those parameters are smaller and smaller today with the smaller bats. Most professionals these days don't use a bat that's more than 31 or 32 inches. And at that, it has a big barrel, but virtually nothing as soon as you get to the trademark. So that business of fighting the ball off your chest, they don't have much space there to do that at all. We're trying to think of ways that you could be the next 400 hitter, that you could be a scrappy player, that you could cover the whole zone, that you could go to those places, high and tight, low away, where pitchers know that they can get most hitters out. And you can go there and not only fight the ball off, but you can have success with it. You can drive it into the power alleys. You can get extra base hits. These are things, once again, that both pitchers and hitters should think about. And I've only scratched the surface. I should probably do another video of this kind. But have you ever heard a coach talk about that? I mean, I think this is essential to being successful at the game.